How do you justify your rates when you're meeting with the hospital or nursing facility staff in pursuit of a contract or service agreement? Great question. Stay tuned. I'm about to answer that question. Hello everyone, it's Joel Davis with the United Medical Transportation Providers Group. And when I have two client providers asking me almost the exact same question, I know it's something I want to make a video about. So last week, one of our client providers asked us the great question of how do you justify your rates? And just this morning, I had a second client provider we're working with ask almost the exact same question. How do I justify my rates when I'm meeting with hospital staff or nursing facility staff or staff from a healthcare organization or any type of consortium? Let me give you proper context. Now, when we're working with you one-on-one, one of the things that we want to accomplish is the preparation of an executive welcome packet. Now, this executive welcome packet is not a resource you're just going to randomly give out to any prospect or, a unit secretary or someone just sitting behind a desk. The executive welcome packet is just that. It's for when you're sitting down and you're meeting with the executives or the higher administration from the facility, the decision makers. So first objective of the executive welcome packet is to make you look top shelf. So even if you're just starting out, you only have a few vehicles by yourself, whatever, I don't care. There is no excuse not for you to look your possible best. We want everything looking good. This is why the branding, I've been stressing for many years now, the branding of your business is key. You want continuity in messaging, continuity in branding throughout everything. Your vehicles, your website, your executive welcome packet, all your promotional materials, all of your uniforms, all of your literature, everything. We want continuity in branding and messaging, bottom line. This is what led to us retaining full-time our own team of developers. So if we're working with you to build your website, we also do your marketing material as well. And then obviously with all of that material, all of that content, all of the logos, those are all incorporated into your executive welcome packet. Now your executive welcome packet towards the end of it is going to feature your rates of reimbursement. And what we do is on the left side, we feature your retail rates, and to the right, we feature your dialysis rates. Even if you don't even have you have no dialysis patients right now, you're just starting out, or maybe you've been in business and you just don't have any dialysis patients, you've been pursuing other work, not a problem. We still feature your dialysis rates for a key reason. Now, in understanding why we feature your dialysis rates, let me digress for one quick second again and explain why we don't offer templates or generic contracts or service agreements. A second reason is because realistically, you don't walk into a facility and demand a contract or service agreement. You don't even suggest it. Why? Because they don't even know you. They don't even know if you're going to show up tomorrow. Are you reliable? Are you responsible? Are you going to be on time? Are you going to be punctual? Do you look like crap? I mean, what? They don't know you. The last thing you do is go in there and demand a service agreement or suggest you have a contract with them. It is a process, and this is what most people miss, is the process of establishing the relationship, building the reputation to get to that point where you get the service agreement, you get the contract. It is a process. This is why you want to look top shelf from the very beginning of your business, bottom line. So with the rates, the retail rates and the dialysis rates, we are not demanding, we are not suggesting any type of contract or service agreement, but we are, through the narrative of the entire presentation, i.e. the executive welcome packet and the rates of reimbursement, we are signaling to them that you are open to giving discounts in exchange for volume. So they can literally, on the left side, they see your retail rates, and to the right, they see your discounted dialysis rates. Obviously, dialysis patients travel 3 times a week. So you're looking at, with round trips, they're going a minimum of 6 days a week. Each one of your dialysis patients, that's why I always refer to your dialysis patients as the Holy Grail of clients, because of their volume. So you always want to give them a discount. So with that being said, you already are signaling in your executive welcome packet that you offer discounts in exchange for volume. Now, by all means, if you're sitting there presenting your business to the hospital, the nursing facility, or whoever you're meeting with, and they broach the topic of conversation regarding service agreements or contracts, boom, that's the green light. You go all in. By all means, you could pursue that topic of conversation. But the last thing you do is bring up the conversation or insist that in order to do work with us, you need to have this contract, the service agreement. Absolutely not. You do not bring that up, because remember, it is a process. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of the true question. How do you justify your rates? You don't. You do not justify your rates. Why? Because you don't have to. By the time you're sitting down with them, you already want your rates to be, number one, they got to be competitive. If there's something crazy and ridiculous compared to any of your local competitors, then you're just going to be out of bounds. It's not going to work. So you got to make sure that by the time you sit down at that meeting, that your rates, they're already fine-tuned. We've already done our market research, and we know that they're targeted and they're competitive, so they're quality. So you're going to stand by those rates. But in terms of actually justifying your rates, you're not. You do not need to justify it. Why? Because you are a viable business. You are a viable entrepreneur. You're sitting down meeting with them, whether they requested the meeting or you requested the meeting, regardless, you're there. The last thing you need to do is justify, well, this is how I substantiate this amount for an ambulatory pickup, or this amount for a wheelchair, this amount for a stretcher. This is how I justify our after hour. No, you don't. That's not even going to be a topic of conversation, nor should you even approach that. Now, if the topic of conversation comes up where they're specifically talking about the prospects of a service agreement or contract, i.e. they want to give you volume in exchange for a discount, then you could start to justify some of those numbers, because then you could explain of why you need to have more increased rates of reimbursement for after hour work because your labor rates goes up. Those are conversations you could have to justify your rates, but you do that when you get to a point in time when you are definitely on the fast track to establishing a service agreement or a contract. But when you first come in and you're leveraging your executive welcome packet to structure your presentation, introduce your service, impress them with your business, you most certainly do not belittle yourself by having to justify your rates. No, at that point in time, you're an established business. Sure, that hospital has been around for the last 50 years, 70 years, whatever. They're big, their budget doesn't even compare to yours. They're in the stratosphere, you're just starting out. Doesn't matter. You are a strategic partner. And this is what's key. This is absolutely what's key. For those of you who've been watching my videos for any length of time, you know I've been talking about how so many different types of services, the ambulatory, the paratransit, the fixed route, they're all on borrowed time. They're going to be out of business. There's no question. So much of that is going to be taken over by AI, automation, all these urban planners who are working to just completely restructure the way they do transportation. And they have to, because of population demands, technology advancements, et cetera, et cetera. But if you've been watching my content, you know things are shifting and changing. The industry has completely changed just from a few years ago, and it's going to be even more different a few years from now. So the way you handle your business, the way you approach your business, the way you engage key facilities is completely different. And what many people fail to realize is hospitals, key nursing facilities, rehab facilities, a lot of these healthcare organizations, managed care organizations, these large consortiums, they need your transportation service to complete their mission. Bottom line. So even though a lot of the fixed route paratransit, the ambulatory stuff is all going to be eradicated through technology, there is always going to be a demand for quality wheelchair and stretcher transportation. So understand, when you're sitting down and you're meeting with this administration from this hospital, this key nursing facility, skilled care facility, rehab facility, whatever, whoever you're meeting with, by the time you get there, you already know that they need your service to complete their daily mission, bottom line. So the last thing you need to do is justify why you're charging $50 for a wheelchair pickup, $120 for a stretcher, plus the mileage, all this kind of good stuff. You do not justify those. The only time you even need to start to justify your rates is if you are actively involved in the negotiation and we are in agreement, we're in pursuit of a contract or service agreement. Maybe now we're at the negotiation stage where we're going to start negotiating some of the price points for volume based on discount. Now, realistically, most of those hospitals, nursing facilities, most of the volume will come during the day when the hospital is actively open, the nursing facilities are actively open. In the evening hours, that's where the work becomes less predictable, because in the evening hours, definitely in the midnight hours, then all of your work is really going to come through the emergency room, the emergency department. So again, clearly understand, just because you're a newbie, just because you're a rookie, doesn't mean you need to act like one. And you definitely, by the time you have a sit down with some of these key personnel, you never need to be in the position, even though they are David versus Goliath or a giant versus you, a newbie, and you are really trying to solicit them to get their business. That doesn't mean that you need to play and perform like a rookie. You could still look top shelf. You could still look like an expert for sure. This is why, again, it's critical you have continuity and branding across everything within your business. Everything from the way your vehicles look, to your website, your marketing material, your uniforms, all your promotional material and information, invoicing, all that stuff. You need continuity and branding. This is why a few years ago we started in-house our web development through our own media department. I mean, we have 4 developers that work with us almost exclusively full-time because of demand, which is great. So you got to look top shelf. Even if you're a newbie starting out, who cares? You want to look top shelf. You want your website looking good. That's why if you are going to be with us one-on-one, I would definitely encourage you to consider using us for your web development, because when we do your web development, we're also going to do your marketing material, and all of those designs, all those logos are all going to transfer and transition. We want your executive welcome packet looking identical in structure, content, visually. Messaging is key. We want continuity in messaging all throughout all aspects of your business. Branding is absolutely critical to establish that brand recognition, and the connection to resonate with your clients, your prospects, the facilities, the staff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, as always, thank you all for your great questions. Always appreciate it, especially when I see questions that are very similar to each other. I know it's a hot topic. There's plenty more people who are thinking the same thing, but they just haven't asked the question, hence the reason for making videos like this. So definitely continue to send your questions. As always, I look forward to working with all of you. When I do, there's only one thing I could possibly do, and that's see you at the top.